I am very lucky to play Doug Wilson, who was the real-life policy aide for the Hart campaign and has gone on to do wonderful things in our United States government. He worked for the Pentagon. He was instrumental in the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And I've been emailing with him lately, and he's a lovely person and an inspiration, so really, really honored to get to portray him. We had so much fun. We have this great group of people that are smart and funny and weird, and we spent way too much time joking around and really took to heart the campaign staff staying up too late, maybe drinking a little too much, and rolling to work the next morning looking like we'd been on a campaign bus all night. Definitely the axe throw. Gary Hart famously threw an axe at a lumberjack show, and Hugh did the same. And on the first take, it was a bullseye. I swear, one take, Hugh, axe, bullseye. The guy is amazing. I've been such a fan of Jason's work for so long and was so excited to get to work with him. And even though I had unbelievably high expectations, they were exceeded. He is so brilliant and so collaborative and has such a clear vision, but is also so open to our ideas and he's just an incredible quarterback. And getting to catch a pass from him every now and then was such a treat.
I play a reporter for the Miami Herald who, curiously enough, shares my Boston accent. It's one of my great performances. It was awesome, man. Just every day, just the whole way Jason shot the thing. I knew from day one when I saw one of his shots, I was like, no matter what, however this comes out, this is going to be the coolest looking movie I've ever been in. The last few days, I finally got to do some scenes with Hugh Jackman, and it's cool because he was playing like Gary Hart. At one point, he got mad at us because we were chasing him, and for a second, he kind of turned into Wolverine, which was really cool and scary. So I'm very excited for him. I hear he's getting Oscar buzz, so it's fun. I got to be in a Hollywood movie with Hugh Jackman, so it's cool. Gives me something to talk about at the high school reunion.
It's a moment in time when everything changed in American politics. It's part of the reason we wanted to tell the story. It's a totally gripping drama where everything changes.
I've been following this story personally for decades. I wrote the book and we helped write the movie, and I just think it's just a great cinematic tale. It's hard to believe it's true, but it is true, and it had a major impact on American politics and American life. So it's about time people heard the story and thought about it, I think.
We started years ago working on this, and it's amazing to be here with all these people, this incredible cast, Hugh Jackman starring in this movie. It's a dream come true.
It's all been new to me, but the weeks we spent on set, 9 weeks on set, with a young cast that got to know each other and got to be great friends with Hugh Jackman, who's just an amazing presence and personality and leader and comedian and actor. I think that whole experience of watching this film come together, it was just kind of magical.
Getting to work with Jason Reitman was a real dream too. It was an incredible collaboration between the three of us from the very beginning. We learned a lot. We had a great time while we were doing it. We would always joke around that this was PTSD inducing for us in some ways because it started to feel so much like a campaign. We would all hang out together. Everybody would go out drinking after work together. We would all hang out together all the time, and all of a sudden it started to actually really feel like a campaign. It was one of the chemistry we think comes through in that on the screen.
From Jason's singular creative vision, his ability to lead everyone, the way the cast came together, the crew came together, how excited everyone was to work on film and really hone their craft in a kind of retro way. I think all of that comes across on film. Everybody was having fun, everybody took a lot of pride in what they were doing, and we're super proud of the film.
Kevin Sweeney, press secretary, far superior to myself intellectually, and just a different looking kind of guy than me, which was so much fun. I got to dye my hair red and perm it and wear this fake beard and wear clothes 2 sizes too big so I could appear lankier, and just such a character. Just felt it's real acting every day. So much fun though. And then also like, I'm getting to like stand next to Hugh Jackman every day and Vera Farmiga and like trying to remember my lines despite my huge crush on both of them. So much fun though.
My character is John Emerson, deputy campaign manager. So I'm kind of J.K. Simmons' right-hand man in this thing. And Emerson, like sort of a acerbic sense of humor, but hard worker, real believer in Gary Hart, as was that whole team. They were really, their hearts were really in this thing. And I've said this before, but my favorite part of this whole thing is getting to be a part of this great ensemble. I mean, it's such an old school ensemble movie. With a little touch of Robert Altman thrown in. I mean, it was just really neat to be a part of this family for, 3 months. We kind of lived and worked together and ate and drank together. It was a special filmmaking experience. I think because it's a great conversation starter. This is my favorite kind of movie. A lot of gray area. There's no traditional heroes and villains. Gary Hart was a very complicated guy. The press that was following was dealing with a lot of their own sort of feelings about what they should cover and what they shouldn't. I think this is one of those great movies where you can go with friends and family and go have a nice, really long conversation over some wine after the movie, because it really challenges the viewer in that way and doesn't give you any easy answers. I love the energy of this city. The fans of these movies and TV shows that screen here are rabid in the best way. So I'm very excited to be here.
Irene Kelly is the campaign scheduler for Gary Hart in '88. She's sort of a composite of a bunch of real-life figures that were working for the Hart campaign. And she's in a particularly difficult position as the one woman who's really working in the main campaign staff for Hart. She's sort of put in between her allegiance to the team and to him and his campaign, and also to Donna Rice. She's sort of a composite of a couple of real-life characters, but we still felt this sort of gravitas of wanting to do them right. And Matt Bai's book is incredible, so it provides a lot of really good information about what the campaign was like. This is my first time here. I'm thrilled. TIFF is very exciting. I hope I have some time to see some other movies and get to some parties and stuff. This is probably the biggest cast that I've been a part of. The campaign team boys especially are absolutely hysterical and kept me laughing all day long. I could not have asked for a better team to be with.
I play Ann DeWey, who is the political editor in the Washington Post, the political editor of the Washington Post in 1987. So she was one of the fiercest, most incredible journalists of her time. Unfortunately, she passed away in the late 90s of cancer, but she went through 4 presidential terms, and she was a force to be reckoned with, and it's a great honor to be able to play her in this movie. It was a dream. I've been such a huge fan of Jason Reitman's for forever, and this was a very different role and experience for me to play a political editor of a major newspaper. Is very different than a lot of the work that I'd done, and I just feel incredibly honored to be a part of this group, and I have yet to see the movie, but I hear it is a truly extraordinary ensemble. I love it. I was here last year. This is my 4th time here. It's a very special festival and place for me.
It was a great challenge and one of the most satisfying experiences of my life. To work with Jason, I just felt in such safe hands with him. I met Gary Hart, got to like him a lot. We are good friends. He is as enigmatic as everyone says, and I just had to get used to the end of every day with that feeling of like, I think we did all right, I'm not sure, because that's the thing with Gary. You're never quite sure, it's hard to nail down. It really means a lot to me. I've been now in the business for over 20 years. I don't get to come back here that often. We don't get invited that often. It's a great honor and a great thrill to be in a Jason Reitman film in Toronto. He is certainly the local hero here. We're in Reitman Square this morning. Just makes it all the sweeter. A lot of the cast are in there tonight. This is a very, very big night for the film. It's a film I'm very, very proud of. And as someone who's also from a Commonwealth country, you know, it just feels right to me. I want them to walk away with questions. I want them to argue. I want them to ask of themselves, yeah, what is important? What will I forgive and what can I not forgive in my candidates? What my character has a line in the film, some things in public life are interesting, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're important. And the film does not try and give answers. There's no real clear heroes and villains. It's trying to start a conversation. It was phenomenal. Jason, I didn't realize this, but is a part of a group of actors and comedians and writers that he sees regularly, is in touch with, and so often on a film you'll have 10 sort of actors and who you work with a lot, but on this film it was more like 30. Every single one of them has played lead roles or could play a lead role in a movie. So to have that kind of depth and still in a feeling of ensemble was, I mean, I've been in big, if I think about it, superhero movies, but this was like double that size.
Oh my God, it feels amazing. I lived in Toronto for 7 years. I used to live down the road. And I remember walking by here years ago, and I saw a friend of mine who was outside in line. I said, what are you here for? He said, I'm about to go attend one of Jason Reitman's readings. And I was like, that's pretty cool to be back here, and I'm a huge fan. So yeah, this is awesome. It felt really privileged because, I mean, Hugh Jackman, we're all obsessed with him. The whole cast, I don't care what anyone says, we're all in love with him. He knows it. And you know, and Alfred and Vera and JK, we're all like enamored by them. And then there was a whole other ensemble that were all in like somewhat similar places in our careers, and so we all just really got along so well, and it was like a family. So we love each other. Like everyone here is like this. I played Billy Shore, who was Gary Hart's aide de camp, basically like his personal assistant, his guy. So he was with him all the time for years. And he was just a really, really calm, patient guy who was there for Gary through all of it, which there was a lot. And he just supported him, and he's a wonderful man. We're in contact, and he's an incredible guy and a great author as well. When you walk out of the theater, you'll be thinking about it when you leave, as opposed to be given an answer that was fed to you by a storyteller. It makes you decide how you feel about it, and I think that's a sophisticated way of making a film.
Her story is finally told, really who she is and what happened, and not the portrait that was painted of her. And it just, I really sympathized with her and connected with the character, so I felt so lucky that I was chosen to portray her. I feel so excited about that I was able to, not only that, but to do it working with Jason. It was a dream come true, honestly. I mean, I've obviously always been such a fan of his work and admired him, and I love all of his movies, and the fact that he chose me, it was like such an honor. I feel really grateful, honestly, and I know it sounds like I'm like gushing, but it's because I am, because I love everyone. Everyone is so good, so kind. I do think, again, it's a testament to Jason, because I think he likes to work with people that he gets along with and are very cohesive on set, and I think that all was true. Oh, I'm having the best time. This is my first time. It's so fun. I'm loving it. I'm just excited to see the movie here at this festival in particular, because everyone here is a film lover. You know, everyone loves film here, and so to be in the audience and see their reactions, it's priceless.
The Ryerson Theater just feels like home to me, you know. I don't know how many times I've come out here with a movie, but I just, just feels like coming home. I really just want people to have that conversation. I have to imagine The Front Runner is the kind of movie where you're going to have a different experience than the person sitting next to you, and it's a movie that really is for the drive home. I've always been a director that's interested in flawed characters in general, whether it's the head lobbyist for big tobacco, or a guy who fires people for a living, or a pregnant teenage girl. I guess these are the people I like making movies about. And this is the frontrunner centers around a flawed human being who had great ideas, but also made mistakes. And it's about the journalists and campaign people around him who are just human beings trying to figure out the right thing to do in the midst of a scandal.
I play Tom Fiedler in the film, who is a real-life guy from the Miami Herald back in the day. And he sort of plays the spoiler in a way in this movie. He's kind of the guy that takes the initiative to break the story about Gary Hart's affair. And that's where everything gets dismantled and starts to fall apart. As an actor, I love it because it's a lot of fun to play. And for Tom Fiedler in particular, he had a great polarity because he was trying to hold someone in power accountable, but at the same time, I think he may have had also ambitions of his own. So I think there's a little bit of a polarity there. And it's also interesting because once everything was dismantled, I think he actually felt maybe some regret. At least that's how I played it. You'd have to ask the real Tom Fiedler. This ensemble cast is brilliant. They are so great, every one of them. But really at the center is Hugh Jackman, who holds it all together. His performance is astonishing and enigmatic, and I don't know, I've never seen Hugh Jackman like this before because he has like this Mount Rushmore-like facade, but he lets you in little by little, and eventually you see a crack happen. And when it happens, you get chills as an audience member. That's how powerful he is. You should see the film for its relevance today in terms of, does a public person's private life reflect or indicate how we should feel about them or whether we should support them? In other words, if it's a politician or an artist or a musician or anyone in the public sphere that you love or admire, do their faults and flaws as a human being matter? To what extent? And how does that figure into whether you support them in their domain?